This only instant would I give to be charged.
That's all right. That's okay.
As we join each other's hands and everything that separates us, we will start learning. As this very strange time, joy, peace, to feel, to totally overwhelm us, it's got to take that final step.
Okay, mighty companions, can we give it up for us right now? Can we do that? Give it up for us. So good to see you here today. And welcome those of you who are coming in online, CJ, Mallet, and everybody else that's coming in right now. I want to start out with a song by my friend John. And I really think this is a really cool song. It's called We Are One. And I'd like you to use this song to just give us an opportunity to just bring ourselves in so we can go deep today. And don't forget, you can get John's music on his website, johnchristmas.com. And everybody in here, we are one. That means we are joined. We are the same. And let's breathe. There's a call, God, I see it everywhere. Everybody's running scared. Yes. And everything is turning upside down. Everything is turning upside down. I'm feel it?
Tell me, can you hear it?
Can you hear it?
Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around
Put your arms around it.
and know that we are one.
We are one. We are joined.
Yeah, we are one.
We are connected. We are one. We are joined.
Now let's come together.
Let's come together and understand that Christ was born in the heart of every man. We got to choose love as ourselves. When you choose love, you're choosing me too. Yes. What? Love is who I am. Love is who you are. Did you know that? We're not that far apart. We're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Did you know that? Can you hear it? Can you hear it? We are one. We are connected. We're not alone. We have each other. You're surrounded by love right now. No matter what's going on inside of you. You're so innocent. So loved, so important, so significant, so valuable. Yes, you are. Guess what? When we're not that far apart, you're breathing the same heart. We've been together from the start. Yeah, can you hear it?
Tell me, can you hear it?
Feel it?
Tell me, can you feel it?
Put your arms around it. Yeah.
Know that
we are one. Tina, Elizabeth, Barbara, CJ, Christopher, everybody online and in this room. We are one. Yeah, we are one. I am you. Guess what? And you are me. Let's give it up for Brother John for even putting that music out there. I'm telling you, that's some good stuff. That is some good stuff. It's never been. Okay, I'm doing the guidelines of the chorus first. It's a must. 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 I don't care how many times I hear it. It's a must. You need not believe the ideas. You need not believe the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You need not even welcome the ideas. You need not, now listen, welcome the, I know I feel like a flight attendant on the airplane, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's the same kind of energy, you know, it's like, That's okay. Don't pay attention. Some of these ideas are going to be hard to believe, and some of these ideas are going to be quite startling. You're not asked to analyze and judge the ideas at all. You're not being asked to analyze and judge the ideas at all. Their use will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. Their use will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. Show us that the ideas are true. Holy Spirit, show us that the ideas are true. Woo! Show us that the ideas are true. Higher power, show us that the ideas are true. The use will give the ideas meaning to us and will show us that the ideas are true. 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 Today, I'm going to talk about the answer to prayer. I'm going to tell you why it sometimes how you have your prayers answered. Is that worthwhile? Okay. Is that worthwhile?
Yes.
All right. Prayer is asking. To pray is to ask. The Course in Miracles defines prayer as asking. It's on page 163 in the text. The Answer to Prayer, chapter 9, page 163. And I'm going to read through the paragraph, and then I'm going to share my interpretation, which is going to be basically saying what is saying again. And so that we can get past the block. There are some things that I want to ask for in my life right now. And maybe you have some things you like to have in your experience right now. And today's lesson is about how to have your prayer answered and what it is that keeps it from being answered in a way that would be meaningful to you. Okay? All right. Thanks so much for showing up. I appreciate that. It's going to be 77 degrees in Colorado. It's a miracle anybody's in here. So I just want to continue to tell you that I appreciate you and thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up. Thank you, brother. Patrick, everyone. Patrick, thank you. Yes. Patrick is very bold. He's going to be right in my face. Don't you dare go to sleep. I'll be on top of you like white on rice.
I'm wired.
I'll be wired today. I'm just warning you. I'm going to rub stuff on your face if you go to sleep. That's right. Okay. You have a big old mustache on your face with you. Okay. All right. That's right. Chris is online. I can see his hand up already. Long distance. His hand don't come through the wall. Chris! That's right. I love it. Okay. I'm going to read this paragraph right now in my own injunctive way. Everybody who ever tried to use prayer to ask for something has experienced what appears to be failure. Everyone who's ever tried to use prayer to ask for something has appeared to experience failure. Have you ever experienced what you call failure when you ask for something in prayer? This is not only true in connection with specific things that might be harmful to you, but also in connection with requests that are strictly in line with the Course. I want peace. I want love. I want to experience oneness. And I want to experience holy relationships. And it still hasn't happened. So it also looks like our prayers are sometimes not answered, even when we ask for the spiritual stuff, let alone the other stuff. Is that right?
Yes.
And asking for the peace of God and abundance and love and, right relationship, and it looks like it didn't happen. It says the latter in particular might be incorrectly interpreted as proof that this Course in Miracles doesn't mean what it says. I did my workbook lesson one time, and I didn't get my whole life to change overnight. This stuff doesn't work. I half-heartedly tried it, and it did not succeed, so it must not work. You must remember, however, that the Course states, and repeatedly, that the purpose of the Course is the escape from fear. The purpose of the Course is the escape from fear. The Course says, the purpose of the Course is the escape from fear. The purpose of the Course is escape from fear. Not a house, not a car, not a boyfriend, not a girlfriend, not $1 million in the bank. The purpose of the Course in Miracles is to get us out of fear. To get us out of fear. To get us out of any form of fear or conflict. That's the purpose of the Course. First paragraph. Anybody that's ever prayed for anything, even the stuff that's not even good for them, have experienced what could be seen as failure. And people who've asked for spiritual enlightenment, oneness, peace, joy, love, and connection have also experienced what you could call failure. And so that looks like this doesn't mean what it says. That studying the truth, the Course, doesn't mean what it says. But remember what the purpose of the Course is: to escape from the ego. The ego is fear. Fearful thinking is the ego. The idea of being separate is the ego. That's the first paragraph. Everybody clear? All right. Second paragraph. Let's suppose then that what you ask of the Holy Spirit is what you really want. Let's suppose that you're asking of God what you really want. Let's suppose you're asking of the universe what you really want, but you're still afraid of it. You're asking for what you want, but you're afraid of it. You're asking for what you want, but you are afraid of it. I want a relationship, and I'm scared. Because I've experienced pain in relationships in the past. I'm asking for it, and I'm scared. So, should this be the case, should what be the case? That you're asking God for something, but you are afraid of it. He says, then your attainment of it would no longer be what you want. So whenever you ask for something and you are afraid of what you're asking for, anytime you ask for something and you don't feel peace about it, you don't really want it. If you ask for anything without enthusiasm, joy, and love, and peace, from a Course in Miracles perspective, stop kidding yourself. You don't really want it. I want a relationship too. I want one. I want a relationship. Give me a job. I want a job. You ask for something and you are afraid of what you're asking for. You don't have peace. What's the Course telling us? You don't really want it. The attainment of it isn't what you really want. That's what it says. Okay? That's deep. Then it says, that's why certain specific forms of healing are not achieved, even when the state of healing is. What the heck does that mean? That means that healing is real. Healing can happen. Love is real. Love can happen. But the reason why it looks like certain specific forms of healing and happiness don't happen in a person's life is because they're always asking for something they're afraid of, or they're asking for something they doubt, or they ask for something they have conflict about, or they're asking for something they feel guilt about, or they're asking for something that they feel fear about. So when you ask for something, you're saying you want a really passionate relationship, and you're terrified of passion. You're saying you want to connect with somebody, but yet you prefer to be alone because you don't trust, then you don't really want, according to this, you don't really want what you're asking for. So when you ask for something, does it make sense then that you should pay attention to how you feel when you're asking for it? Start paying attention to how you feel when you're asking for something. How do I feel about this? How do I feel about that? The Course in Miracles teaches that your feeling is your one right use of judgment. You can tell yourself anything intellectually, but your feelings will tell you what you really believe about whatever it is you're talking about. I love the truth. Do you have any enthusiasm about it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course I do. I have lots of enthusiasm. Can't you see it? It's your problem, man. Right? Right? But if I say to everybody in the room, guess what? I have free trips to Hawaii for everyone. It would be a yay! You know, usually, unless you got bit by something in Hawaii. So anyway, my point is, don't lie to yourself, don't lie to yourself, don't lie to yourself, don't lie to yourself, don't lie to yourself. Pay attention to how you feel. If you don't have enthusiasm, if you don't have joy, if you don't have happiness, if you say you want something and there's no juice behind it, stop kidding yourself. It is not what you really and truly want in your heart. What you really and truly want in your heart, you're going to be enthusiastic about experiencing it and receiving it. See, that just if you would just be with that, Earl, that would allow you, if you just took an hour to sit down and really think about what you think you want, Earl, and then pay attention to how you feel behind each thing that you say you want, you would know whether or not you were just kidding yourself. Wow. Then it says, individual may ask for physical healing because he's fearful of bodily harm. I was just diagnosed with some type of illness, and I'm asking for physical healing because I don't want to get worse. I'm asking for physical healing because I don't want to get worse. At the same time, if you were healed physically, the threat to your thought system might be considerably more frightening to you than its physical expression. Whew. Okay. I'll make a graphic example. I broke my arm and the bones protruding out of my arm. And I said, God, heal me. The bone retracted, the skin healed, the flesh healed, and my arm was perfect. That would be more frightening to you than the broken arm. Because your thought system says that's not possible. So the Course in Miracles is saying that sometimes the reason why you don't get answers to what you're asking for is that it goes so deeply against what you already believe that the thing actually happening would cause you more fear than the physical thing you're going through. If I said I needed $1,000 to pay a bill and all of a sudden it went poof, it was $1,000 on the table, that would freak me out. But going to a job, working my can off for a month to get $1,000 is more acceptable to my belief system. And I let the $1,000 come to me through hard work, but it has to be hard work through something I don't like. That's the only requirement. It has to be something that I don't like. Obviously, that's true because many people say they don't like what they do. So that means that they can only accept money through doing things they don't like. And so if something comes to them too easily, then it's spooky. I try to be loving, and in my experience over the last few years, nothing is more frightening to people than trying to be being loving. They're much more suspicious of a loving person than a person that's a pain in the butt. Why? Because their belief system is, I can't trust men. That's my belief system. I can't trust men. You just can't trust them. Ow! They're dogs. He just will come in the door and howl. Okay, now. So here comes a nice, loving man. Your game is just better than most. Right? Why? Because my belief system says you can't trust. My belief system says you shouldn't be vulnerable. My belief system says I shouldn't be open. So it's better for me to keep the old belief system and therefore don't have to take a chance of opening up than to open myself up and then be vulnerable. So the actual relationship that I'm asking for would be more frightening to me than the thought system that I already have. Is this making sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Ridiculously so, right? Depressingly so?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Then it says, in this case, then he says the person is not really asking for, I love this. The Course says, at the same time, if the person were healed physically, the threat to their thought system would be considerably more frightening to them than its physical expression. In this case, you're not really asking for a release from fear, which is, by the way, that's what healing is. Healing is the release from fear. So when the Course in Miracles talks about you being healed, it's talking about you being released from any kind of fear and conflict First you have the fear, then you have the physical condition. First you have fear, then you have the frightening condition. Any frightening condition in your life is coming from fear. Fear is at the root of it. Separation is at the root of it. So we deal with the outer symptom, but it's always rooted in some form of fear and separation. So that's why the Course jumps from saying healing to saying release from fear. So if you want to join, if you want to have a loving relationship, then your first goal with anybody should be that they feel safe with you. And how do people feel safe with you? You listen to what they're saying, and you try to stay within the boundaries that they have defined that makes them feel safe. It's not really complicated, right? Then it says, in this case, you're not really asking for release from fear, but when you say you just want the physical condition healed, you're just asking for the removal of a symptom that you yourself selected, and that request isn't for healing at all. You know, I'm always broke, so I need you to give me some money to pay my bill, is not me dealing with the cause of me being broke, which is my sense of separation from God and my fear. Follow me? We just keep producing external conditions, asking for help in the external condition, not asking for real healing, which is to get in touch with what's going on inside my mind that's creating the physical condition. So we just keep asking for, I need to have my physical, make my mate change, make my boss change, make my job change, make the weather change. I need you, God, to help me get this house. Because I'm really afraid that I'll be unhappy if I don't get this house. That's not really asking for healing. Healing would be asking to have any kind of fear around it removed. That's healing. But to continue to come up with physical situations that you're praying to the universe to fix without thinking that it has anything to do with your thinking is not asking for healing. That's not dealing with it at its cause. Okay, any questions, any comments, either those of you online, hello Jeannie, hello Cindy, hello Jenny, hello Marina, hello Melissa, hello Stella, a lot of women.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah.
Someone told me, I don't know where, but somewhere in this Course in Miracles it says that Jesus says, don't bring me your fear because I can't deal with it. You have to deal with it.
What the Course in Miracles, there's not a line in there that I've read that says exactly that. But what I have heard all the time is that it's always saying that what you want is a correction of your perception. That you want to ask for, whenever you're afraid, you want to ask for help in the conditions that are bringing your fear about. Yeah. Because I can't take your fear away, but I can take away the condition that you are using to make yourself afraid. It's like when I was a telephone man and I come into a house and the dog went, "Black man!" Ah! Okay. I was the first black person in management at the phone company in Memphis back in the 70s. I was the very first one. And I would go to houses and white people wouldn't want to let me in the house because they couldn't believe that I was really a manager. Okay? So it was really interesting. So they were afraid. So the condition that caused their fear was this stunningly handsome black man that was at the door. And so to get rid of their fear, they thought they needed to get rid of the condition that was causing their fear, which was me. Bring a white dude, and we'll let him in. So I let go of my fear when you get rid of the condition that's causing my fear. I like to bring up race stuff because it freaks people out. And it's fun to me to do that because we're so in denial about our illusions around race. It's ridiculous, you know. And since I'm not a black person, I can act like one. I'm really spirit. I am not my physical housing. I am not my physical body. And to me, the lowest level of consciousness is a racist. That's the absolute lowest level of consciousness that you can be on to me. And for me to be born in the South, where racism was rampant, I had a lot of unconscious racism that I was born into within myself. It was so obvious. It's not like I'm surrounded by a racist environment, and I'm not. You see what I'm saying? So I was serious about dealing with my racial issues when I was born. I dropped myself right in the middle of my own attitudes of my own past, which was deep. I remember my guy telling me when I was 10 years old, because I had a guardian angel who worked overtime, really upset me because I tried to get into trouble and I couldn't.
Yeah.
And so, it was ridiculous, And because I was born aware that this wasn't the ultimate reality and that I chose to come into it at some level. So for a long time, I still had conscious communication with the other side. And so I would get guidance. And I went, I was black and I was in the South and it was doing segregation. And then I was poor. And I was like going, what the hell? I was a kid. I was like mad. I was like, what the heck is going on? And then my guy said, you were a white slave owner in a past life. So you chose to come back this time on the other side of yourself in order to get another perspective of the whole thing. Wow. I wish I hadn't asked. Okay. But then all of a sudden, things that didn't make sense made sense stuff. All of a sudden, I wasn't such a victim of the experience. I was like, oh, okay, I'm meeting myself. For instance, if we're all one, right? I'm going to give you a classic example of what I'm talking about. If we're all one, let's pretend that's true. Okay, then you're only giving to yourself all the time if we're just the same being. It can't be in any other way. If we're just one, whatever you give to anybody, you're giving to who? Yourself. Okay, so let's say that I'm a robber. Or no, let's say that I'm violent, right? And so I walk up to a person, and then I go, all right. So I experience myself as the perpetrator. Did I not? Yeah. Okay, then at some point, since it's me, I have to experience it as the person that got slapped. What? If it's all me, I'm only giving it to myself, then whatever I do to somebody else, I got to experience it at some point from the perspective of the giver and this perspective of the receiver. I am the same being. Okay? So I was a perpetrator of racism, so I also experienced the racism being directed back toward me. So how do I get rid of it? I changed my friggin' mind. I stopped being a friggin' racist. I realized that love is the only answer. It's not really complicated. It's just that as long as I want to suffer myself, I'm not going to use the obvious and simple answers that would heal me. I don't refuse to change and refuse to help people because I don't want them. I don't like them so much and I don't want them to be helped. I don't give the help because I don't believe I deserve to be helped. It's my self-hatred that keeps me from loving you. Because I know if I don't love you, I won't experience love within myself. So I don't want to do any of this stuff as long as I don't love me. It's like, wow, that's really deep. That's really deep. So, now you see why my classes are predominantly white. If I got to change my perception of you, then what would be a better way to do that than to be surrounded by you? Who are me? Does that make sense? That's right. So when you get serious about getting past your white racism, you're going to be sitting the only white person in the black audience.
Yeah.
What's going on? See, the race thing is deep. You can feel the energy. It gets uncomfortable. Whenever the energy, you start talking about anything racial, it gets uncomfortable. Why? Because we are racist. That's why. We're pretending we aren't, but we are. And that's why it never gets friggin' solved. Because nobody is one.
But we are.
But we are. So how do you get past that? Forgiveness. What is forgiveness? Correcting my perception and my interpretation of everything that's going on around me. So I want you to know, I love you, and I love your white bodies. You think they're beautiful, especially all the different colored hair. It is amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay. Okay. So it's my own self-hatred. Just like Melissa's saying, it's my own self-hatred that keeps me from loving you. Right. Cheryl says, heal my mind. Stella says, my belief system needs to be evicted already.
Yes. Wow. That's right.
Right. I love that. I'm going to evict my belief system. Okay. Anybody else? Any thoughts, any questions about what I've said so far?
I just feel like this section is really powerful, and if I could just focus on this, all of my problems could be solved.
You are absolutely right. That's the thing I love about A Course in Miracles, is that you could take one statement, stick with it, and use it, and transform your entire reality. But what I've noticed from teaching this for 36 years is I've never seen a metaphysical, spiritual teaching, and I'm a junkie as far as reading all this stuff, that brings up as much resistance as A Course in Miracles. I have not seen one teaching I've ever studied that I've watched people defend against, like I see them defend against the Course in Miracles. It is amazing. That's what made me pay so much attention to it. Because I was like, why is it that people resist coming to Course in Miracles classes, reading the Course in Miracles book? They forget everything that they've heard as soon as they hear it. You know, it's weird how I watch how people react to this. Why? That's because that old self, your ego, that structure you've made up that you call you, that's keeping you unhappy, that's used to being in charge, knows if it hears one friggin' thing that this book says and actually uses it, who you think you are that's caused you pain is gone. But guess what? Then you open. Then you're vulnerable. Then you've got to trust. Then you've got to reach out. So, you know, that's the part that's scary. What's scary is joining, not being separate. Just like when I gave that example of me having to be on the receiving end of what I've given. Well, doggone it, if I'm separate from you, I don't have to feel what I've given to you. So I like being separate from you. Then I don't have to reap any of the results of what I do to you because we're not separate. And when you're going through pain, it doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't feel it. When you're hungry, I don't feel it. So the advantage of separation is I don't have to feel nothing you all are going through, and I don't have to be affected by nothing that's happening with you. I love being separate. I love being able to leave here and leave y'all somewhere else. So get my car and drive away. And don't have nobody going with me except the special ones. That's who I want to leave my car, the special one. The rest of y'all, and have a good day. Okay. So don't think for a second we don't love to be separate. But you think for a second we don't treasure being separate. You want to make a bunch of people mad? Tell them we all need to love everybody. Tell them that love is inclusive. Tell them that love isn't special for just one person. It's a riot. We want to be separate. We want to be special, and we want to be treated above all others. There's a part of us that's like that, and I'm willing to admit that there's a part of me that's like that. And just like my racism, I'm going to admit to my desire to be superior or inferior. I'm going to admit that I want to be special, and I want to admit that there's a part of me that's glad I'm separate from you.
And damn it, I'm an individual.
Yeah, and I'm an individual. I'm individual consciousness. And I have my own truths. Which you don't even know what they are, but you better live up to them. Because that's where we do that too. You know, I have desires and thoughts that I want people to act out, and I don't even tell them what it is. And I'm upset with them because they didn't do it. You're just supposed to know.
If you love me.
If you love me, you're just supposed to know what pleases me. That is the truth. Anybody here willing to tell the truth with me today? Yeah. Now tell me, what's the harm of having 20 people love you as opposed to just one? What's the harm of having 20 people that care about your well-being? 20 people that want your safety and your joy and your happiness. Please tell me the downside of having love come to you through more than one person.
You need a bigger bed.
That's sex. Oh, that's sex. It ain't the same thing. Obviously, love and sex is the same thing. You know, but sex is one way you can show and express your love. See, sex is nothing but the symbol that a part of us knows that it's through joining that things happen. Sex is just a physical symbol of the fact that when you desire someone, it means you want to connect. But our ego just relegates it to sex is the symbol of love. So then it becomes, if you love me, you just have sex with me, which means you're completely off about what love means or what love is about. Why don't you just say, if you really love me, you just shake my hand. That would probably be easier. Because it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. Or if you really love me, tap your forehead against mine, and don't tap your forehead against anybody else's but mine. Oh, if you really love me, rub my elbow. And I'm the only one you rub an elbow with. So we still keep forgetting that we're the one that gives it all the meaning that it has for us. You're the one that's giving sex all the meaning that it has for you. It doesn't have any meaning on its own. You're the one that's giving it meaning. Don't even get me started with that. Okay? Don't even get me I get riled up. I'm so sick of sex.
I wish I was.
I know. Just keep studying, okay? I said 36 years. You know, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? What's the big deal? What's the big deal? What's real is love. What's real is feeling connected. What's real is recognizing our divinity together. That's what's important.
Yes.
It's not how our bodies rub together. That doesn't mean anything other than the meaning that you give it. It doesn't mean anything other than the meaning that you give it. It can be the symbol of my complete joining and connection with you, which is beautiful and holy and sacred and divine. Or it could be just the latest thing I use to make myself miserable, which is the way most people use it. It's to keep what? Fear going. Fear of what? I'm afraid of what they're going to do with somebody else. I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid. They're going to rub with somebody else. They're going to rub, and that person might rub better than me. Because I prided myself in being a better rubber. A better rubber? That's deep. That's really deep, man. My God. That made me sound like a divine condom, didn't it? Be a better rubber. Yes, Chris. Your body came. I know, I pulled Chris here. Yes, Chris.
So, yeah, you were talking about like just being honest about like, say, being like, you know, being like a racist or, you know, having like just prejudice like that and everything. And I wanted to share something, and for me, it's kind of embarrassing and it brings shame. But like, I'm sharing it to bring the light in it and to dispel that.
Yes.
But I consider myself a tolerant person and real tolerant. But last night I went to an event where there was a transvestite there.
And what's a transvestite, Chris?
He was a man, and now he's transforming into a woman.
Okay.
So he had some woman parts and he had some man parts.
So you said he's transgender?
Yeah, transgender.
Okay.
I'm sorry. See, I even got it.
That's okay. That's okay.
But yeah, he's transgender. So I realized that I still got a long ways to go as far as tolerance goes, full tolerance.
Yeah, I know. I was at a gathering last night. I was doing some holy research. I was at a burlesque show. I was doing research, and it was funny because I was at the urinal, and this lady she came into there and she went to the stall because she was tired of waiting in the woman's line.
Yeah, I get it.
And she was totally cool, totally safe, and she came in there. Why? Because she was willing to let go of her fear, and to let go of her fear, she could pee. Immediately. And most women are too afraid to do that, as if something's going to happen to them if they came in there, which is not. You know, so my point is, she had her healing because what? She was able to let go of her fear. You know, and like what you're saying right now, it's like, you got in touch with the fact that you still have some issues around that, which means your body identification is still very strong. Because that's body identification. And body identification makes you judge whether or not anybody's fitting the norm that's been defined in the illusion about what a person should be like. You know, it's not a ridiculous thought that you could have a consciousness that's primarily feminine that's inside a body that looks masculine, or vice versa, since this is just a housing and it's not who you really are. That's to me, that's right up there with racism. You know, when people act like you can't love somebody because their body is of the same gender or not the opposite gender, that's just as limited a perception to me as being racist. You know, if I can't love anybody who has a different reproductive organ from mine, then I'm totally physically body identified. And if I can only love somebody who has physical genitals that are different from mine, I'm still totally limited in my perception of love. So the truth is, heterosexuality and homosexuality are both limited perceptions of who we are.
Yeah, yes.
And I know that'll make some people mad, but it's still based on the body. It's not based on who I am. It's based on my physical gender.
And so that's why I feel like shame and like guilt around that, because I thought I was more tolerant and more
And your desire to feel shame and guilt is the reason why you have the issue. The issue ultimately doesn't have anything to do with the fact that the person was trans, that your ego knows that that's a good way to make you feel guilty and shame, and that keeps your separation from God going. See, the trick is that makes you feel guilty. That's why your ego likes to do it. It has nothing to do with the person's body and what they're doing at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I overeat and then feel bad. Okay, that's the reason why I'm overeating. I'm overeating to feel bad about myself because I don't believe I deserve to be loved and happy. So it's never the physical thing that's your addiction. It's your addiction to feeling bad and feeling guilty and not feeling good enough and innocent enough that keeps you attracted to whatever you see as your addiction. I didn't get control over my sexuality or any aspect of my body until I started to feel innocent and free. So it's just the opposite from what I thought. I thought, boom, I'm going to study this stuff. It's telling me I'm innocent and I can do anything I want, anywhere, any way. So I went, oh, wow, I'm going to go buck wild. No, Earl, you were going buck wild when you felt guilty and sinful and bad about what you were doing. The minute it's okay if you do it and okay if you don't, you find that the control that desire has over you, it goes away. And then all of a sudden, it's up to you whether it happens or whether it doesn't, and you're okay whether it happens or whether it doesn't, because you're free. That's what being free means. You're free of guilt. You're free of fear. So you're no longer compelled to do it. I don't have to have it.
Wow.
That's freedom.
Yeah.
See, but if I choose, I'm going all out.
Yeah.
You ponder before you make a decision. You weigh it back and forth because once you make your decision, you abandon yourself in that decision and you don't hold back. The once you weigh it, the once you decide it's okay, do it. That's how you really enjoy it. We say we want all this freedom and all this truth and all this stuff we're talking about, but when somebody stands in front of us and says, you are loved, you are innocent, you can make your choices, and you can make choices with other consenting parts of you that make a similar choice, instead of rejoicing, we get in touch with our own prejudices. All of a sudden you get, can't believe you said that. You see what I'm saying? Because every time I stand up here and I'm myself, I attract people who love me the way I am. So I admit I have an ulterior motive. I'm trying to meet as many people as I can that like me the way I am. And I'll never meet them if I hide who I am. And then I'll never get rid of the people who will never love me until they see who I am. So right now, I'm on a mission of self-acceptance. So some people don't like me. They don't like the way I teach. They don't like the way I talk. I'm not spiritual enough. I talk about the Bible. I don't give a damn. I don't care. Because anybody that really loves me, they are going to love me anyway. And they're going to go, wow, I appreciate your authenticity, buddy. And that's the kind of person I want in my life. And the judgment person who still have their unresolved guilt and fear around the body, then they'll go give someone else hell. And I'll be free from it. Because you know they're going to go judge somebody else. But maybe I'm getting you in touch with something that you need to look at and let go of within yourself by your reaction to what I'm saying. And that's what he's saying right here. You should be asking for the release from the fear rather than getting the physical symptom and fixed.
That's a good point you just made.
Please talk up so people can hear.
That's a good point you just made. It goes back to what you keep emphasizing, that we love to be separate.
I love to be separate.
To see people as they are, we don't see them in a physical way. We see beyond the physical.
Got to.
That's the only way we can connect to them in a loving way. And our belief system, our separation of our body identification is so strong to keep us separate, because that's what we're trying to hide anyway.
Is
In our separate bodies. Our separate
well, that's the
bodies.
purpose of the body.
And that's what you brought, the point you brought up.
Yes.
About always come up with situations and believe, they're just beliefs that you're using to stay in a separate form.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Chris, and the way you get past, and the way you get past it is simple. The way you get past it is simple. You just go, the prejudice, the energy of discomfort that I felt is my call for God, my call for love, my call for help, my call for healing. This is my call for God. This is my call for love. This is my call for help. This is my call for healing. This is my call for God. This is my call for love. My racism is my call for love, my call for help, my call for healing. My prejudice around people who have other sexual expressions of themselves, that's my call for love. That's my call for help. That's my call for healing. We make the answer complicated, and it isn't complicated. The answer is to make it into a prayer. And whatever your particular need is, whatever way you need to deal with, for instance, your sexuality, all you have to do is just be true to yourself and do it that way. But don't try to tell me how to express myself. I don't have to live according to your value system. You just make sure you meet somebody that does live has your value system in common. In a problem. But don't get mad at me because I don't agree with you with the way you decided to do something. And I won't get mad at you because you decided to do it differently. Because at least I know where you stand. You're not one of those wishy-washy people that I don't even know what you stand for. At least I know where you're coming from and I can honor that. But don't get mad at me because I don't have your values. And I won't get mad at you because you don't have mine. And if I do, that's my call for love. And if you do, that's yours.
And I gotta remember through this all that I'm still innocent. And it's my
Yes, and as much as you put yourself down to try to make yourself feel guilty, which you mentioned over and over again about various things, then you are giving yourself an infinite number of times to remember you're innocent. You ought to be the most innocent person in the room. Really, because you named such a variety of things that you beat yourself up about. So actually, you should be going, oh, and this is my call for love. Oh, and that's my call for love. Oh, and this is my call for love. Oh, and that's my call for love. Oh, and this is my call for love. So you should be remembering God all day, increasing your consciousness of God all the time. Because that's all it is. It's just another opportunity for you to remember the truth. It's another opportunity. I'm mad. That's another opportunity for me to remember the truth. I'm prejudiced. That's another opportunity for me. And so you will use what you think of as the thing you should feel shame about to wake you up to the infinite power and glory that you are, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah. 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 So, I'm going to go to this last paragraph right quick because it's got some good stuff in it. All right? As you can tell, today I have some issues. Because you know when I'm fired up like this, I'm talking to me, man. I'm talking to me. Y'all think I'm talking to you? This is what you're doing. No, y'all are watching me heal. Thank you. You're so generous of y'all to come and watch me heal. That's awesome. Because you don't have the same issues. It's just me, isn't it? Oh, you got your stuff all together. This way you can just check it out. You know, look at him. You know. Yeah. Rick, Coach Shelby, you're good enough. You are. Cindy, you're on a mission of self-acceptance. Don't ask for the healing, ask for the release from fear. My call for love, my call for God, my call for healing. Wow. All right, all right, all right. Remember, with most people, the sexuality is the crazy switch. Don't forget that. It's the crazy switch. They're sane as they can be until you flick the crazy switch. You know that's true. You know that's true. Y'all all know that's true. So just be conscious before you flick the crazy switch. How do you be conscious? You go, what is my purpose? What is it for? That's all you got to do without anything. Why do I want to do this with you? What is my purpose? And I love how you mentioned a bigger bed, because that's the fear around love, is that people think you're talking about sex. That's exactly what he said, is exactly the challenge. Because they're so hopelessly intertwined. And I talk about it because I want to get rid of all my subconscious sexual guilt that I learned through my fundamentalist religious upbringing, and the fear that I learned from my own parents around the body. That's why I talk about it. I have my own stuff to let go and to expose to the light. And hopefully I'll join with other people that want to release their fear and guilt around these issues. I'm not interested in sitting up in a room full of people that are pretending they don't have any issues. It's about us going beyond them through God together. Together. That's what we're here for. You bring it to the light, you feel innocent. All it takes is one other person saying, you know what, Earl? I feel the same way. I'm dealing with the same thing. And you know what I would feel? More innocent. But us acting like we don't have similar issues that we're dealing with, that is not helpful to any of us. It would have been better if everybody in the room went, yeah, I got some fears about some things too, Earl.
I've got some fears about some things too.
Somebody else tell me. What?
I got some fears.
Anybody else? Hell, y'all messed up. I need to get out of here. No. And now I feel innocent. Now I feel more connected. Now I feel more joined. It's right back again. Being separate. Acting separate, acting different is what keeps us in our fear. So, the Bible emphasizes that all prayer is answered, and it's indeed true, all prayer is answered. The very fact that the Holy Spirit, the higher power, God, has been asked for anything will ensure a response. You can't ask the universe for an answer. You can't ask God for an answer. You can't ask Spirit for an answer and not get an answer. It's not possible. Then it says, it's equally certain that no, this is the sentence I want you to make a notation of, okay? It is equally certain that no response given by Holy Spirit, God, your higher power, will ever be a response that would increase your fear. You need to underline that, circle it, and everything else you can think of. If you go within and you ask for guidance, you go within and you ask for an answer, and you feel more fear, you feel more conflict, you haven't heard the true answer. And that will cut out a lot of confusion. It's no way a response that comes from love is going to make me more afraid. It's no way an answer coming from God is going to make me feel guilty. It's no way an answer coming from God is going to make me feel shame. There's no way love is going to make me feel worse. So if you ask for something and you're afraid of what you're asking for, you don't really want it. So don't be surprised if it don't show up. Then people say, well, it still showed up and I was afraid of it. Aha, your ego gave it to you. That's where that person came from. The part of you that is insecure, the part of you that doesn't think you deserve love, the part of you that thinks you deserve a challenging relationship, because you know that part of you gave that person your phone number. That part of you wants to go out with that person. Your ego always takes the stuff and does the stuff that your Holy Spirit self doesn't want to do. So yeah, if you're determined to suffer and you're afraid of love, well, then your ego will attract you to the next person in the relationship that doesn't satisfy you. So yeah, you still might have a relationship, but you're going to be afraid in it. You're going to have a lot of conflict in it because your ego was attracted to them, not the loving part of you. Because the loving part of you would never give you something that makes you more afraid. The loving part of you wants to go in the direction of joy and peace and light. It's not complicated. You're going to hear me say that a lot now. Simplicity is very difficult for twisted minds. But that's what the Course says. The simpler it is, the harder it is for you to get it when you're in fear. That's why it says there are certain people that cannot do A Course in Miracles. Because the Course in Miracles can only be understood by people who are partially sane. It says it right there in the book. So that's why you can't tell some of your friends and relatives anything about this and it'll make any sense to them whatsoever. A person that totally believes what the world teaches. A person that's totally in separation and victim consciousness. A person that totally believes they are a body cannot follow this reasoning at all. But a person that's beginning to wake up, they can kind of begin to get it more and more and more and more. And then if you're a person that's totally into reason and love, you'll be like, oh man, that's so right. Oh, that's so true. Oh my God. Oh yes. I've been waiting so long to hear this. Oh, this is the best stuff I ever heard in my life. You know, and then you give it to somebody who's totally into self-hatred, guilt, and not ready to hear how innocent they are. And they'll go, what the hell did I just read? It looks like English, but I don't know what the hell I just got done reading. And that's usually the experience of people when they first start reading The Course in Miracles. They literally know it's English, but they don't have the slightest idea of what they just got to read. And you all would know that was true if you're reading it. That's why it gets dropped over in the corner. Because it's beyond insanity. And in the beginning, I'm insane. I've forgotten my oneness. So it says, no response is equal to certain that no response given by the Holy Spirit will ever be a response that would what? Increase fear. Now the next sentence says, it is possible that the Holy Spirit's answer will not be heard. It is possible that you won't hear the answer that's coming from your inner self. It's possible you won't hear the answer that's coming from love. So what are the two conditions? If it's coming from love, it won't increase my fear. But it is possible for me not to even hear love. It's possible for me to be in the presence of love and not be able to respond at all. And he's telling us that. You could be right in the presence of love and have no attraction to it whatsoever, which is protection for the person that's loving. And you too, because the loving person would scare the hell out of you. Because you'll never be able to control a loving person. A loving person would never let you guilt trip them. A loving person would never let you attack them. A loving person would put up with none of the games that we play in relationship at all. They wouldn't attack you, they just simply wouldn't come around. Because they never attack. But love waits on welcome, not on time. It doesn't take time for you to meet a loving person. You have to get to the point you know how to welcome love into your life and recognize it when it shows up. Because in most cases, it's showing up and you just don't see it. It's right in front of your face and you don't see it. Which is good news because that means it is available. Don't forget that. It means it's available. You just don't see it. Woo! And then the last sentence says, it's possible that you may not hear the voice of God, love, truth. It's impossible, however, that the answer will be lost. It's impossible that you lose the help and the guidance and the instruction. So don't worry about it. You can never lose it. Never lose it.
This reminds me of the other part of the Course that says, I do not know my own best interest.
I do not know my own best interest. The Course in Miracles work, because I talked about that when I spoke at the 11 o'clock service today. That one of the things you begin to realize as you begin to awaken is you don't really know what your best interests truly are. You're just making it up as you go along. And usually based on what you've been taught you should want. You know, you were taught what you should want. Think about that. You were taught what you should value. And you know it's not your true value. Why? Because it doesn't give you satisfaction. That's how you know you've been sold a bill of goods. You'd be happier if it was your true values. You'd be happier if you were really doing your special function. You'd be happier if you were really in the relationship that was right for you. That's how you can tell you're not seeing something correctly. Is that your life should be joyful. That's all you need to know. I'm miserable. I'm wrong.
That's good news.
That's good news. That's good news. It's good news to me because I'm beginning to wake up and I'd rather be happy than to be right. Okay? And the last sentence is, there he says, there are many answers that you've already received, but you haven't heard yet. I just gave you an hour's full. And then it says, I assure you what? That the answers are waiting for you. Would you acknowledge yourself, Holy Spirit? Woo! Woo! I need encouragement. Without encouragement, see, I'm not totally healed yet, so I appreciate encouragement. See, when I really get my act 100% together, it won't make any difference.
No, I love you.
But it's okay to ask for what you want. It's okay to ask for what you want. Don't say you're being codependent when you ask for what you want. There's nothing wrong with having support while you're learning that you don't need it because you already got it. You understand what I'm saying? You need a hug, ask for it. Don't be waiting for somebody to give it to you. Ask for it. Ask for what you need to hear you are lovable. Don't go, oh, if I ask them to tell me I'm lovable, then I'm just dependent on them telling me I'm lovable. No, you're studying. You are reading. So you're working on yourself. So while you're working on yourself, don't hesitate to ask for what you want and what would support you. Please. Please. Let me share this with you. Okay. Thank you for sharing financial expressions of appreciation with me in this ministry, teaching ministry that I'm doing full-time in my life. Thank you. Thank you. Those of you online, if you'd like to share, you see value in what comes through me enough to want to share, go to my website, earlpurdy.com. And I've been having some incredible one-on-one clarity sessions that have gone to another level, which has been interesting to watch. So if you'd like to have a one-on-one session with me, then go to my website, earlpurdy.com. It explains what I do as far as counseling and mentoring and coaching. And you don't have to, I'm here to help you save time, and you're here to help me save time. Take advantage of 3 decades of working with people. There are no original problems. There are no original problems. There are no original problems. There is not anything you can bring to me that I could not go within the Course in Miracles, the Way of Mastery, Course of Love, and what I know about astrology and numerology, and not give you a solution. Now, whether you use it or not is up to you. But don't pretend there is no solution to whatever you're going through right now. That's the height of arrogance, to think you have an issue that even God can't handle. You know, you gotta be pretty bad. I can just see Earl's got a problem and God's going, oh no, I can't deal with that. Earl's problem, that's just too much. I can't deal with it. Okay, you're not that special. Okay, that's a little bit too friggin' special. Okay, if the question is, do you think you're worth the effort to let it go? The Course in Miracles says it's not that this is hard. He says, Jesus says in the Course in Miracles, you don't think you're worth the effort. That's why you don't do it. You don't think you're worth the effort. That's why you won't do it. It has nothing to do with being hard. I'm not worth it to me. And so I needed to hear that. So I could say, okay, I want to do it different. I want to do it different. So, Tuesdays, 7 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time, the Way of Mastery. And also on Thursday nights, I do a Course of Love at 7 o'clock Mountain Time. Course of Love is to the heart what the Course in Miracles is to the mind, consciousness, and perception. It's a powerful, powerful teaching. And the Way of Mastery, I love how it uses a lot of the examples of modern day things that we're going through to give information. Okay, one takeaway. Anybody got one takeaway that they would like to share before I finish it up? It's all in your beliefs. Anybody else? One takeaway that I've heard today that I want to say.
Being loving will keep me safe.
Being loving will keep you safe.
I only overeat because I want to feel bad.
That's right. I'm overeating because of the guilt that I feel as a result. You know, there's a line in the Way of Mastery that says, better for you to drink a bottle of scotch in innocence than to eat tofu with guilt. You know what I'm saying? Or eat food with guilt. It's the guilt that's the issue. It's the guilt that's the issue, and guilt makes us think we're separate. It makes us think we're separate from God and love. That's what's so awesome. Anybody else?
My feeling is my one right use of judgment.
You're feeling, right. How do I feel about this? Because my feelings always take me back to my beliefs. If you want to know what you believe, start with your feelings and work backwards. Because your intellect will tell you anything. It will come up with you will convince yourself you like something that you don't even really like intellectually. And then you go, well, how do I feel about it? The way I feel about it is, oof. Okay, then that's not the direction you need to be going into unless you change your perception enough to change your feelings, if at all possible. Wow. Wow. Online, let's see what we got. Jan says, it's okay to ask for what you want. Don't hesitate. Marion says, I don't know what I want. Holy Spirit, tell me what I want. Give it to me. Bunmy says, Bunmy. All right. Bunny says, it tells you in the black man's class. Okay, now, Bunny says, if it doesn't give me peace, then I don't really want it. And Stella says, go conscious before you hit the crazy switch. I love that. This statement is now on the fridge. She already put the statement on the fridge. You know. And then Bundy says again, rather than beat myself up with guilt, remind myself that it's a call for love. Take a breath. Oh man, that was deep, wasn't it? I tell you, don't y'all sue me for course abuse. Okay.
I gotta need a fire extinguisher to put you up because you're on fire.
I know, buddy. I know. Back row over there. I see you back there on the back row. I see y'all back there. Uh-huh. Y'all ready? Are y'all ready? If you're feeling fear when you ask for something, it means that you don't really want it. You don't really want it. If you're asking for fear, if you're asking with fear, it means you don't really want it. You don't really want it. If you're asking for conflict, if you're asking from conflict, it means you don't really want it. You won't really want it. The Holy Spirit, God, would never give you anything that would increase your fear. When you are tuning into spirit, you will not feel more fear when you ask for whatever you ask for. Remember, if you're asking with fear, you don't really want it. So what should you do if you find that it's true? What should you do? What should you do? If you know you're asking for something, but you're doing it with fear, what should you do? What should you do? What should you do? Your first thing you should do is ask your higher self, ask your higher power to release you from fear. That means to remove the conditions that are causing my fear. Would you remove the condition that's causing my fear? Would you remove the condition that's causing my fear? Would you remove the condition that's causing my fear? Would you remove the condition that's causing my fear? Would you remove the condition that's causing my fear? Would you remove the condition that's causing my fear? Would you remove the condition that's causing my fear? Would you remove the condition that's causing my fear? Would you remove the condition that's causing my fear? Is that what you want to do? That's what you got to do? Remember that any answer that comes from God will not increase your fear. Any answer that comes from God will not increase your fear. Any answer that comes from God will not increase your fear. Any response that comes from God will not increase your fear. Any response that comes from God will not increase your fear. Any response that comes from love will not increase your fear. Any response that comes from love will not increase your fear. There are answers that you've already received. These answers you haven't heard yet. You've been given answers today from A Course in Miracles. And some of you may walk out of here and do the same thing that you've always been doing. It just means you received the answer, but you did not hear it yet. Now, you heard the answer? Did you hear the answer today? Did you hear it? Are you open to the answer today? Everything in the world is neutral. 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 But you don't have any neutral thoughts. 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 Your thoughts are bringing you peace, or your thoughts are bringing you conflict. Your thoughts are bringing you peace, Earl, or your thoughts are bringing you conflict. But the answers are waiting for you. You can't lose the answers. The answers are waiting for you. You don't have to worry about it. The answers are waiting for you. The solutions are waiting for you. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. So if you feel hate, if you feel anger, if you feel racism, if you feel all kinds of hang-ups in a variety of ways, don't forget to tell yourself, this is my call for love. This is my call for God. This is my call for help. This is my call for healing. This is my call for love. I'm mad, that's my call for love today. I feel guilty, that's my call for love today. I feel afraid, that's my call for love today. I feel sick, that's my call for love today. I feel guilty, that's my call for love today. And you will experience the answer to your prayer. You will experience the answer to your prayer. You will experience the answer to your prayer. Your prayers will be answered. You're entitled to miracles. You're entitled to love. You are not your body. You are a spiritual being. You are eternal and loved. You are very powerful. And you deserve love. Oh, yeah. You deserve so much love. So much love. So much love. So much love. Mm-hmm. 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 I love love. Thank you. Thank you. Give it to us. All right. And don't leave out here and don't flick the crazy switch, okay? Chris. Mighty Companions Online. Go to my website, sign up for my contact list. I love you guys online. Thank you.
Say, Matt, put your hand in there. Thank you, brother.